Hello, everybody. How different work schedules affect business. We have now seen that the standard 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. schedule no longer exists in great numbers. Of course, this is because our customer base no longer works 8 to 5 as well. Hence, the great increase in online shopping. People don't have a standard day as much anymore, and so they can't really have a standard shopping day or where they need to conduct their business during standard hours. Banks in particular have changed considerably. I remember a time when banks were open somewhere around 10 to 3. Now most banks are open at least 9 to 5, and you can access them almost 24 hours online. And even talk to somebody over the phone much of those hours. How things have changed. But it is true that productivity and performance for employees is less when they work different schedules, when they maybe work from home telecommute. In fact, it has been stated that a person's productivity declines after 9 hours. So, for those people working 980 or 410s or even 12-hour shifts, their productivity does decrease on that 9th hour. And in fact, as you go throughout the day, productivity decreases. And that's just standard because people's mental and physical health often needs a recharge. In fact, some people will say when they've been home for an hour or two after their workday, they feel like they have more energy. There's also people that feel that they have most of their energy in the morning. This is why some of the more productive hours are in the morning. And if you have a challenging meeting or work product, you often schedule it in the morning rather than the afternoon. That's for most people. Some people are productive in the afternoon. But work schedules can affect productivity, profitability, and performance, especially when you telecommute. But there's some areas or some aspects that an organization should consider in order to maintain at least some level of productivity if you have differing work schedules, whether it's hours a person must work longer than 8 or telecommuting. And these include, first, that you have to make sure that productivity goals are very clear. This is, in most cases, the most important, especially for those who telecommute, who work from home. Since you can't walk by their cubicle or office on an hourly basis and see if they're talking on the phone or playing some kind of games online, what you can do is make sure that projects and milestones are met. And so clear deadlines must be extended to employees. I need this by this date, or your sales requirements are the number of work that you must produce during a certain given period of time are X. This really is the best way to determine if somebody is doing their job when you can't see if they are. There has to be some what we would call deliverables. The deliverables must be given to the supervisor at regular intervals. This is the most important. Be clear about what you expect. Be clear about when you expect it. And then be sure that it's delivered and evaluated in a timely manner so that you can make the necessary adjustments. Second is that you have to have regular updates. This is something that is not done. This is an aspect that's overlooked so much in our business world. I actually don't know why. But when you're in the workplace, for instance, where I work, we have meetings every day. Meetings are very short, but you have what we call check-ins. And the check-ins last anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes. I highly recommend when I do consulting that you also have check-ins with people who work at home. It's pretty easy to get everybody on the same page, on the same phone call, and that should be done on a regular basis. It helps create a team atmosphere, but more importantly, it helps ensure that everybody knows what other people are doing. I find this to be really a critical aspect of telecommuting or differing work schedules. And so regular updates, regular intervals are key. Here's another aspect about that regular aspect. When you work at home, or you telecommute, or you have different work schedules, I encourage employers to have more often evaluations, performance evaluations or appraisals. In fact, they should be done at least monthly. There's more requirements, more expectations on a supervisor when you have people who work from home. And so having these evaluations on a more frequent basis certainly can ensure that an employer is getting the best bang for their buck for employees who are working at home. For employees working at home or having different work schedules that find this to be a burden, what I often say is that's the price you pay for having this type of schedule. And if you're doing your job, it doesn't matter how often your supervisor checks in on you. And lastly, make sure there's a continual reassessment of the arrangement. Do not, in my opinion, give an open-ended contract to somebody to have a different work schedule or to telecommute. Instead, there should be regular intervals. For instance, this is a 3-month arrangement, and we will double check or check in to see if it's working for both sides at that time frame. It could be 6 months, but there should be no expectation that this is going to be a permanent change. Rarely is anything permanent. Rarely do our customers expect a certain arrangement to continue for certain periods of time. As I often say, there's always a new Tide detergent that comes out on the market. Therefore, we should be able to adjust our marketplace and the way we do business in terms of work schedules and telecommuting on a frequent basis. Hope this helps. Hope that if you are, as a business, going to be looking into work schedules and telecommuting, which I think can be a good thing, make sure that the expectations are very clear. Make sure that you have regular updates, and then make sure there's a continual reassessment of whether the arrangement works. Best of luck to everybody.